Hi guys, so we are in the month of November. It is almost Thanksgiving. Now this video might go up after Thanksgiving, I don't know. By the way, side note, I didn't realize that it didn't take everyone else like hours and hours to upload a YouTube video. I would probably upload a lot more videos if it didn't take me sometimes over a day to upload a video because our internet is apparently really slow. And I had no idea. I thought everyone just waited like 5, 6, 24 hours to upload a 9 to 15 minute video. I didn't know. So the struggle that I'm dealing with is real over here as far as videos. Now, let me grab these. I want to share with you guys today my end of year TBR. It's been a while since I've made my own book video, and the reason for that is simply because I haven't been reading that much, and what I have been reading has actually been audiobooks, and it's just not as fun to make videos when you don't have a physical book to hold up, which I just gave away. I might as well talk about this one. So getting into that, these are the books that I plan to read until the end of the year. I really think I can get these done. I've kind of like reawakened some reading passion, and I've suddenly been able to get more reading done lately, so I think I can read these, and these are my goal to get read. Unless I buy more books, then they might change a little bit. The first book is Period Power, a Manifesto for the Menstrual Movement by Nadia Okamoto, or probably not Akamoto. Really interesting to note that I didn't realize until I don't think I've only read the first chapter of this book. This author wrote this book when she was only like 20 or something. I don't remember where I saw that, but it was kind of crazy. This is a very young author, so that's sort of interesting. This is a pretty interesting book that I picked up. It says for ages 12 and up, so I think this is actually like a young adult book, but I found this at a local bookstore. Someone a long time ago asked me if I'd gone to this bookstore in Asheville, North Carolina. It's called Malaprops, and at the time I hadn't. I had never gone there. Now I've been there like many times in the last year, even just to browse. But it is a local bookstore that has really different and interesting titles, ones that I'm not used to seeing in a typical bookstore. So like wildly different than Barnes & Noble. Still has a lot of the main book titles, like you can find all your classics and everything, but definitely has some on different subject material that I'm not used to seeing like so prominently displayed in a bookstore, which I love. I love that about this bookstore. But this book is basically about periods and everything that goes along with them. So it kind of starts out with what they are, how they can be, how all our experiences can be different with having a menstrual period, you know, just like the science behind it and how it all works and whatever. Moving on into like homeless women and their really poor access to feminine hygiene products, the different kinds of feminine hygiene products that are out there, unfair stigmas that are associated with having a period, which that is the part of the book that I can't wait to get to, because I know in my mind, I feel like I'm going to talk about this book for a minute. I know that in my mind, I definitely have some cultural things that have been ingrained in me that have come just from growing up in the United States, in the South, in a religious family. There are some things that even I still struggle with talking about menstruating. So I'm excited to see what she's going to say about that and how she's going to tackle those issues. And I'm excited about what discoveries about myself that I'm going to make as I read this book. And it's definitely something that I think I'm going to pass on to my girls when they get a little bit older, if I find it's a good book. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this book. This will probably be one that I read in the next few weeks. Let's see. Going along with that, I might as well just get all the ones that I got from that bookstore out of the way first. Let's see. The next one that I picked up recently is The Liberal Redneck Manifesto, Dragging Dixie Out of the Dark by Trey Crowder, Corey Ryan Forrester, and Drew Morgan. And these names didn't ring a bell to me, but apparently they are comedians, stand-up comics. I didn't know that, but I'm actually already like halfway through this book. I had to pick up this book. Absolutely had to pick up this book. Being from the American South, I grew up in East Tennessee. Now I live in North Carolina. There is definitely some stigma with this word right here, redneck. And one of those is being racist. In the Dark Ages, I mean, probably stupid, anti-woman to some extent, not necessarily, and I'm painting everything with a broad brush right here, but I feel like I can speak on this subject because I have known and loved quite a few rednecks in my life. Like half my family have been have been rednecks, so I feel like I can speak on this subject, and friends as well. So I had to pick up this book. The title really intrigued me, but it's basically these comics are tackling some really serious issues, but with a lot of humor and a lot of cursing. FYI, if you were thinking about picking up this book. I feel like this book is meant to be a reclamation of the word redneck, that it does not have to mean these things that maybe we typically associate with that word. I know I typically associate certain things with the word redneck, and that it does not have to be that way. You can be Southern, redneck, countrified, hillbilly, but without all the negative associations that some people assign to those words. That does not have to mean that you only prescribe to a certain set of beliefs. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to be, obviously, you don't have to be conservative. You don't have to be racist. There is a way to reconcile being a redneck or a country person or a hillbilly in a modern and more obviously socially acceptable way. This book is been very chuckle worthy so far. I'm excited to finish it and see how the rest of it goes, but I do recommend it, especially if you are a Southern person that maybe struggles with having a Southern identity in a modern world, especially again with sort of some of the negative things that people associate with being and living in the Deep South. I know for me personally, that has been a struggle to the point that I try my best to hide my accent in certain situations. I don't really feel comfortable speaking about certain family members or the way that I grew up because, you know, there's this stigma, I guess. I feel like I should just make a whole video on this book when I'm done reading it. I'm done butchering my talk about it for now. Moving on, though. The next book that I hope to read before the end of the year is Border Child by Michael Stone. I'm pretty sure this is a fictional account. And again, this is one that I got from the local bookstore that I was telling you guys about. But this is about a young couple who go to cross the Mexican border into the United States of America and lose their child in that process. Their child goes missing. And then further on in the story, from what I've read on the back, I've not started this book at all. I don't know how the crossing goes. I assume it does not go well. And they actually live, for the majority of the story, from what I can understand, they live in Mexico. However, this child that they lost during this border crossing obviously has haunted them for years. And then they get some news, like a revelation, that could lead to them finding their lost child. So the father, he starts taking like illegal jobs to make the journey north. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure how it's all going to go. Like if they try to cross illegally back into the United States, or how that works. But it's them battling to get a child back that they lost in a border crossing. Obviously, this is a really relevant, even if fictional, story for today, and I'm really I'm excited to read this, but I'm also really nervous about how it's going to make me feel because I'm particularly sensitive these days. The next book I hope to finish before the end of the year is The Gilded Years by Karen Tanabe, or Tanabe. I'm not sure how that is pronounced. I got this in the November reading crate, family reading crate, which I can link for you below to check out and maybe get your own. The theme of that crate was the Gilded Age. And I explained more about what the books were about in that video. But this one is basically about a girl who is descended from slaves and is attending a really prestigious university for women during this time period. But nobody knows that she is descended from slaves because she can pass as a white woman. And it kind of just follows like her story, like going to this school and hoping that she doesn't get found out for just being, you know, who and what she is. I don't know much beyond that, and I haven't picked it up yet, but I do hope to get to that and read it before the new year. The next one that I got from the November Family Reading Crate is These Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. Again, set in the same time period, but this is about a young girl. This is a YA. This is about a young girl whose father dies unexpectedly. And prior to that, she was wealthy, well-to-do, kind of like had her whole life spread out before her. And then her father dies, and it just changes the course of everything. And I have read the first chapter of this, and I am already intrigued. It's just about getting to it right now. But I think this is going to be really good. And then the last one I hope to get to is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I'm not sure. This is a popular TV series right now, and I actually have already watched it up to the point, you know, up to the very last season that it was released. And that's what got me interested in reading Outlander, because I love the TV series. But this is about an English combat nurse from World War II. The war is over, but the year is 1945, and she touches like this magic stone, like a historical stone or whatever. She touches it and suddenly gets transported back in time to 1743 in Scotland, and then it just kind of takes off from there. I don't consider myself a fan of time travel type books or shows, but just from watching the TV show and then of course reading reviews online for this book, I'm so excited to read Outlander finally. I bought this months ago. I just have not been able to get around to reading it, but my goal is to read this before the end of the year, and I'm really excited to get back into the world of Outlander because I tell you what, the show is amazing. So the book's always better. Think it's going to be a winner. Those are all the books that I hope to read before the end of the year. I think I can get them done. I hope I can get them done again, unless I buy new books, and then I might switch some out. I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you all again really soon.